So clearly they endured something pretty intense.
There was 2 women
Yes.
and 7 guys. So
Right.
to me, that's a problem already. Especially.
Eyebrows missing, burn marks,
Mhm.
eyeballs missing, tongue missing. You know,
The bones decaying to that degree in just 4 years. I just don't see that type of decay going.
There's just so much that's off about on both sides. Both sides seem real suspect. I know it's the South, so maybe dental records are a bit trickier down there because they only have maybe 1 or 2 teeth to identify them by.
Have you guys ever had that? Like, you've driven by a house out in the middle of nowhere, you're like, I wonder who lives there. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
This is going to be one of those. What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to JG's Lounge. I'm your host, Jukebox Ginger. We have a wonderful co-host with us tonight, Sean Shankman. How you doing?
doing great, man. It's good to be back in the saddle. I've very much missed doing these things, and man, from what you've told me, tonight's going to be awesome. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
It's going to be fun. I promise it'll be good. And we also have a return guest, Thomas. Man, how you doing? Or considered, what is it? What did you say? Concerned citizen?
So yeah, concerned citizen
Good.
over here.
I like
it. I'm good, man. I spent all week in Chicago last week and for work stuff, and then been a long time since I've been on one of these shows too. So I'm excited about this one in particular. This is kind of a special interest of mine.
Yeah, I had to do my best to get as much information as I could about this. And like I said, I didn't expect 11 pages, but I've got 11 pages that we're going to go through over the next hour and a half, probably. I am streaming this live on TikTok. So if you are on TikTok, I'm not going to really be reading the messages, but you can always come over to YouTube and throw your comments up here and we'll talk to you guys. So Sean, you've been pretty busy lately, man. Let's catch up real quick before we dive in.
Man, I don't know when the last episode when that was that we cut that, but I have been doing comedy every weekend, going back and forth from the coast, and it's been great, but it's just when you're doing, like, during the week I teach college, right, at 2 different colleges, and then on the weekends doing stand-up every weekend, and it's exhausting. I mean, I'm grateful. It's a great life. Been having a lot of fun. But it's just like an example. A couple weekends ago, I went down from Michigan right here, down Newport News on the
those of
East
you
Coast,
who know,
right, to perform at a yacht club, and which I thought was hilarious because I'm a redneck. I mean, I grew up in Deer Creek, Indiana. And it was like, I told my wife, I said, I don't know if these people are going to like me because I'm like a turd in a punch bowl there. But man, they were awesome. They were just amazing. And then went right back home the next day. And then the next weekend I was back in Maryland at headlining Give a Hoot Comedy Club there. I tell you, it's just, I put since January, I just got a new car, new to me. Started with 7,000 miles in January, and I'm up to 27,000 as of this last weekend.
That's insane.
But I will tell you, though, the coolest thing happened. My favorite movie of all time, Shawshank Redemption, okay? It's #1 movie of all time on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. It's considered one of the greatest films ever made, right? And I have been dying to go to the Ohio State Reformatory where it was filmed. And my name is Sean Shank. And even my comedy website is SeanShankRedemption.com. So finally, on the last trip that we took to Maryland, we went to the Ohio State Reformatory. Right. Now, that place, Can we say it's on TikTok? So we have to refrain from the f bombs, right?
You can throw those out there. I mean, there's certain words that I'm probably going to slip, and it doesn't necessarily always restrict it, but TikTok does sometimes restrict certain things.
So I will refrain from saying the one thing, but it is haunted as shit. I will tell you that.
So let's put it this way: it's still on YouTube. So even if it gets restricted and we get booted from TikTok, it's still going. It's still on YouTube. People can find it later on if they're into it. So
okay, well, I'll be a good boy. I'll try to do it. But anyway, the point is, so we go there, and I'm just, man, I'm over the moon. I even bought a 30-year anniversary challenge coin that I keep with me all over the place now. But the coolest thing was not so much stuff that it would be a whole episode in and of itself. But when I pulled out my ID to pay for the hundreds of dollars that we spent in the gift shop, the girl looked at my ID and she looked up at me and looked at the ID again, and she goes, "No fucking way. Oh my God." So she's calling all the other employees over. She goes, "It's the guy." So I was like, because of my name, I was a low-key celebrity, and all the employees were like, "Oh my God, it's Sean Shank."
That feels good. That feels good, man. I mean, I remember my first time being recognized from, I mean, you're bigger than I am with the comedy stuff. But I remember my first time somebody, "You're Jukebox Ginger." And I'm like, "Oh, he knows." "What's up, Dave? We are hanging out on YouTube if you want to come hang out with us, or you can just watch on TikTok." But I felt good about it. I was like, man, I don't even know who you are, and you know who I am. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of a wild thing to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing was, it was like the ones that knew me from the stand-up were like, "Oh my God, funny, blah, blah, blah." But then the others were just like, "Oh my God, your name's Sean Shank." So it was like kind of this amalgamation of both things happening. Right. I will tell you though, bro, that place, when you see the actual size of the cells and everything, it impacts you big time.
Right.
Anyway. So yeah, been busy.
Don't get framed for murdering your wife. Check.
Yes.
As we dive into this, I do want to let people know we got 5 people hanging out on TikTok right now. We got a few watching on YouTube right now. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. This is going to be a somewhat explicit, true crime. Explicit. That's not really, I don't know, whatever. Explicit, whatever. An explicit true crime show. I'm going to call explicit going forward. And if you guys figure it out, you know what I'm saying.
Listen to what I mean, not what I say.
Exactly.
If you just listen, you'll know. All right. So we are going to be talking tonight about this guy right here. Let's see. Pop him up. This is John Edwards Robinson. Born in 1943, Cicero, Illinois, which is a Chicago suburb, which Al Capone, that's his neighborhood. He's the third of 5 kids. Dad was a binge drinker, but he was pretty nice. Mom, not so much. Really demanded neat and clean from her kids. So yeah, wanted to make a name for himself. So by the time he was 13, John, we're going to call him JR for short, because it's just going to be easier to do it that way. So by the time he's 13, he becomes an Eagle Scout. He enters a school to become a priest, wanted to work in the Vatican, traveled to London in 1957 with scouts to give performance to Queen Elizabeth II. And the scout leader later says that he wasn't very outspoken, but when he did speak, it was to produce an effect that he wanted, which I do find. Hey, what's up, Denise? How you doing? I do find that an interesting way of wording a kid's personality, right? He not very outspoken, but produces an effect that he wanted. What do you think of that, Sean?
Well, so as you know, JG, I'm an English professor, and I very much believe in, people. Let me backtrack this. My dad always used to say, pay close attention to the words that people use, because they will always tell you more than what they're actually saying. And in that very brief statement, there is a lot of, even if I didn't know something was wrong with this dude, if somebody was describing somebody in that way, it would probably like make me nervous about them. Because
Right.
that is like you said, that particular choice of words is frightening.
Right. Yeah. Thomas, have you ever heard of somebody using that term, like way of wording to describe
That
somebody?
particular way of wording, no. I mean, I immediately thought like to dumb it down a little bit, like got to keep an eye out for the quiet ones, or he doesn't say much, but when he does say something, it means something. But it was the way that it was put in this particular quote
Right.
does have kind of like at face value, it shouldn't be menacing, but like knowing what we're getting into, it's like eerie, It's like,
Right.
ooh.
Sounds like a warning. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
It sounds like a warning.
Right.
It sounds like somebody was scared of this person a long time ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, have you ever seen? You guys have seen Harry Potter, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember when? Oh my God, Slughorn was describing Tom Riddle.
What's up, Wyatt? Yeah. Keep talking. If I'm saying hi to people, just keep going.
Yeah. So he was describing Tom Riddle, which was Voldemort later. Spoiler. And he said even back then, he had a way about him. That's what that feels like, where it's like this ultimate evil entity, even as a youth, could sway people.
Yes.
Manipulative,
That dude.
Right.
The way it's described is it just feels like manipulative. And it feels yeah.
Right. And that's kind of why I added that into the information, because it really does kind of give an effect of what's to come. So he graduates in 1961 at the age of 17, does favors and small jobs for low-level gangsters. So obviously becoming a pastor is out the window. He doesn't do it for very long, though. he joins. By the way, everybody on TikTok, I know you're there. I see you're on there. This is a weird way that I'm doing it, but I promise it's going to be a good show. And if you're on YouTube right now, the 4 people that are hanging out with us, thank you guys. I don't want to keep interrupting, so we're going to keep going. So he gets in Morton Junior College right away. He doesn't wait too long to get into college. He claims he is fully trained in the medical as a medical technician. That never happened. Further training at West Suburban Medical Center in Chicago. Never happened. Got a job in an X-ray department at a Chicago hospital by presenting false resumes. At 20 years old in 1964, JR meets Nancy Lynch. He gets her pregnant, and they get married pretty quickly because, it's kind of a thing you do sometimes. What's up, Hi? How are you? How you doing?
I have a jukebox. May I bring up a point?
Yes.
We've done enough of these singed things and whatnot and looked into serial killers and everything else. Isn't it odd how, like with H.H. Holmes and other folks, these people tend to gravitate towards the medical profession more often than not?
Yeah, because they're most of them, not all of them, but a good chunk of them are very intelligent. They know, whether it's their sneakiness, their slyness, how smart they are at being deceitful, but leading people on. I mean, there are things about these people that stand out as intelligence, right? I mean, beyond like whether they're like strategically planning their stuff that I wouldn't think of, but yeah, no, I agree.
It's the immense amount of confidence that will get people further than intelligence sometimes. Like, have you ever seen like those videos of like dudes who can try and just get in anywhere just because they have a clipboard and a hard hat, or
Right.
like 2 dudes carrying a ladder with just like plain blue t-shirt and blue jeans, and they just walk past security through like, a nice club or where an event is happening or whatever. Just like the sheer confidence that like I belong here, and people tend to like not question it whatsoever. You can get away with enormous things.
Right. Yeah. So, and he just, I don't know, the way that this timeline of events on this case, I had to keep going back to make sure I didn't miss stuff. There's some names that you forget, like you're just, oh my God, I can't believe you fucked them over. But like, and you forget because there's so much of it and it just keeps building. All right. So they get married. The family's embarrassed that they're, you know, pregnant out of wedlock. Then they end up getting a miscarriage and shortly after the marriage and stay married anyways. And they'll stay married through the course of this show. And then your guys are going to be like, why the fuck did Nancy stay with this guy? So JR is wanting to provide for his family. So he starts stealing from the hospital that he got a job at as an x-ray technician through financial scams and got caught, begged for them not to turn him in and would pay them back. They ended up not charging, but they did terminate him, and embarrassed, he moves to Kansas City with Nancy. They have 4 kids together. They have their oldest boy, their younger daughter, and then their youngest are 2 twins, which is a girl and a boy. John gets a job at Children's Mercy as a pediatric x-ray technician. Presented letters of recommendation from Morton saying he was a medical lab tech, nuclear tech, and radiographic tech. He wasn't. Colleagues, but at this time, this is the 1960s, guys. So you got to understand technology and being able to backtrack people is a lot more difficult. So like, yeah, I would love to just talk shit about this hospital, but based on the time frame and the lack of being able to track stuff, it's understandable. You know,
Right.
I think that level of a position is questionable. Like maybe, he's doing x-rays for kids. I think that's a stretch, but I don't want to give them too much criticism because this is something that I feel like has probably happened more often than not.
Well,
He brought the paper.
You see that signature? That's not his name.
the thing is probably like written in crayon, and it's like he is good tech, and the E's backwards.
He spells the X sideways. Somehow he manages to do it sideways.
Which was seen by a young George Lucas and
Okay, so colleagues said that he was a very nice guy, but he talked to babies like they were adults. I thought that was a funny. That's pretty funny. I'm sorry. I'm gonna need you to quit whining so much. I'm not sure if those are words coming out of your mouth, but I'm having a hard time understanding.
Calm down.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Use your words.
You're rude, sir. Rude.
How dare you spit on me? I'm a professional.
Do you know who I am?
Nobody shits their pants in front of me.
They also did not understand how he didn't know how to read x-rays or their results. That's pretty much his whole job he wasn't good at. So JR begins leaving his wife at home more and more. Shortly after they moved to Kansas City, he goes out clubbing a lot. He starts excessively hitting on women at the hospital, which turns into multiple affairs. Children's Mercy fired him for incompetence in 1965. He becomes a lab tech at Fountain Plaza. It's a smaller doctor's office at the Plaza location here in Kansas City, which I'm sure Thomas and I know. I don't know how familiar you are with Kansas City, Sean, but a lot of these areas are pretty well known. So like us two will know it. You're like, nah, I got nothing. I don't want to go visit there.
Well, maybe if there's a comedy show.
Right. Oh, it's coming, guys. It's coming. We'll talk about it at the end of the show. So Dr. Wallace Graham runs this practice. He was actually at one point the personal physician of President Truman. In late 1966, his coworkers alleged that he was embezzling money. Graham fires him and turns him in, claiming that he stole over $100,000 over the course of a little over a year. He's sentenced to 3 years in prison. In court, Nancy backed him up, saying he was a great father and husband. So there's that.
Ride or die.
Right. She's like, I'm here for you, man, no matter what. On probation, JR gets out and is on a 3-year probation. And JR gets a job managing a TV store. And he gets fired a few months later after stealing TVs. Does not get turned in. 1964, 4 years into Kansas City now. right? System analyst for Mobile Oil, another job that he forged the resume and all the documents on. Yeah, this is nothing, guys. I'm telling you, we're only on page 2 of 11. It's going to get a lot worse.
Okay. If I may interject something here,
sure.
He's like the Leonardo DiCaprio movie, the Catch Me If You Can guy, except he fucking sucks.
Well, he's like not trying to hide it, you know.
Whereas like DiCaprio's character in real life was like able to muddle through it somehow because he was smart. This guy was like, what do you see on the X-ray? 2 years. 2 years of him going, meh.
Man, you see that line there? Something happened.
Oh yeah, that's for sure broken.
We're gonna have to look into that right there. So within months of being at that company, JR is accused of stealing 6,200 stamps valued at $400. He's fired and charged and pays restitution. JR and Nancy move back to Chicago. He quickly gets a job as an insurance salesman at RB Jones. Lies on at the interview, but great first impression, so they hired him on the spot. A few months later, he gets fired after being caught stealing $6,500 in cash. So he is on a roll. Hello, everybody. I do see your messages, but again, this is going to be a long show, so I'm not going to talk too much. I appreciate you guys hanging out. This is live. If you are watching on TikTok, it is live. And everybody that's watching on YouTube, thank you so much.
He's also a shitty thief.
He's a terrible thief. He can't make it a few months without,
and he gets caught.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no paper trail going on.
He gets fired. He gets fired for stealing. He gets fired for womanizing and stealing. And incompetence. Then he gets fired for stealing. Now he's getting fired for stealing again. Right. Yeah. So
your references are
just consistently good at. Well, two things: is bullshitting his way into these jobs and then somehow convincing them not to press charges. That's the only success I've seen with this.
He did serve. So I don't think he actually served the full 3 years either. I just know that he got a 3-year probation on the first round.
Okay.
But there are a few more. He ends up avoiding jail this time by paying restitution. And then he moves back to Kansas City because he violated his probation in Kansas City.
Oh, jeez.
Which is extended another 3 years, which at this point doesn't matter because it just keeps getting extended and nothing's happening really. So they moved to Raytown, where JR opens a medical consulting agency called Professional Services Association, Inc., or PSA, which is a total bullshit fake agency. In 1971, a few weeks into his... Wait, hold on. At 27, he starts... Oh, God damn it. Hold on. I got a little out of place here. So there are gaps within the information of the PSA. So in 1971, a few weeks after the probation, he's 27 and starts another investment scam to steal $30,000 from a retired school teacher, which fails, but he does not get charged or arrested. He becomes a financial consultant at University of Kansas Medical School and Family Practice Department. Another bullshit resume. And then let's see where we at here.
Okay, here's my question. What, JG, while you're looking,
yeah,
and I'll ask our co-host here. Have you? You've been in position to hire people before, I assume, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, both of you. All right. So I have two, and you can literally smell bullshit coming off of a resume. I would say like 98% of the time. Would you agree with that? Yes, no?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So how are these people that are in these institutions? And I agree, back then, communication was not great. Cell phone was invented in 73, and it didn't really hit the market majorly until 85, right? So communication wasn't quite there. But even the professionals in these places should have been able to look at these resumes and go, this doesn't click. But we haven't seen one example of that so far.
Right.
Like I'm assuming.
Well, there's no track record if there's no track. Right.
I'll tell you,
Right.
I've had certain scenarios where, like, all right, for instance, in college, I had a fake ID, right? And I
Right.
remember using this fake ID at this particular liquor store. And I always went in there because I would always like act, this little certain sense of bravado as I walk in with my fake ID. And I go up to the counter and I put a case down. It's like acting like I'm pulling do you need my ID? And the guy at the counter would say, nope, you got an honest face and it's less than $50. Have a nice night. Send me on my way. There I am, 19 years old with 30 rack under my arm. Walking to so, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes people are just like, hey, a sale's a sale, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
we needed to fill the position. You're here, and let's go with it.
Right.
See, I literally thought you're so wholesome seeming that you were going to be like the kid from the Breakfast Club is like, why did you need a fake ID? So I could vote.
So I could vote.
Nope. Natty Ice, baby.
Hi, how are you? Said, shoot, even then, no one had one because of the cost. Phones in the 80s, early 90s were few and far between. Lucky
Yeah.
if you had a car with a phone.
Great point. Great
Also,
point.
like driver's licenses and identification cards didn't really even have like photos on them. Like I don't know. My dad dug up like an old driver's license, and it was just like literally his like name on a piece of cardboard. So here you go.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
So.
All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Yeah,
we got a
yeah.
lot to get through here.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So he gets he's a financial consultant at the University of Kansas Medical School in the family practice department. He gets fired months later for suspected theft. Approaches executive director of Marion Labs Pharmaceuticals, John Hartling, asking to invest in his fake company PSA, which he declines. JR somehow steals some of their stationery because he forges a letter to himself saying they do want to invest and then send to potential investors with Hartling's forged signature. The letter refers to the company founder, Ewing Kaufman, owner of the Royal Stadium. So he's now falsifying documents for very well-known, reputable people.
Yeah, deep pockets. Man.
Deep pockets. So this businessman, Mac Gahal, or Gahal, it's Gahall, whatever that is. Gahal. We're gonna just say Gahal, I guess. He invests $2,500 into this fake business, and then calls Kaufman himself to discuss his investment. Kaufman contacts the SEC, which is the United Security or something services about it. They send out an investigator to look into the PSA company. 2 years later, JR invests more companies in scams, or invents more companies in scams. Federal grand jury indicts him on 4 counts of false representation. Security fraud and mail fraud. 6 months later, in 1976, he pleads guilty to an interstate security fraud, serves no time, but is fined $2,500, and his probation is extended another 3 years. Woohoo! It's just on a roll, man. I'm telling you what.
It's amazing, honestly.
And he does. The thing is that we're talking about the things that he did get caught for. Who knows what he didn't get caught for?
Oh yeah,
we'll find out. But here's the thing that's frustrating about this so far, and there are many things, but some of these jobs that he was able to get into with his chicanery are jobs that like you could retire from with massive benefits, like working for a college and everything.
Right.
If he could BS his way in, and if he had just, instead of focusing on grift and everything else that he was trying to do, just, you know what, how about you just get up and keep going to the job? Because what happens is if you do that, there's remuneration like once a week or every 2 weeks, and you don't have to steal shit, dummy.
Right. But look, he does like this last scam he did, he didn't have to pay any of it back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where's the excitement?
He's not like paying. Oh, it's good.
Conning your way into this like everyday grind. Like
this
cool.
is just
you gotta spice it up a little bit.
You know, like when you crank up those little wind back cars, and then you have to like the wheels, then you let it go. We're just cranking up right now.
Okay, all right.
We haven't even released yet.
Crank me. I'm ready for a release.
All right. So,
It's not that kind of show.
this is not that kind of show. Anyways,
Go to bed, kids.
July 1977, his family moves to Stanley, Kansas, on 3 acres of land with a 9-bedroom house, which he purchased for $125,000 cold hard cash.
Excellent. Smart.
That's not suspicious whatsoever.
Smart.
Stanley is a very wealthy suburb in the Kansas City area. I mean, even today, it's one of the wealthiest suburbs of Kansas City, hands down. I lived out there at one point with my dad on the weekends.
Yeah.
Even if you lived in a 1-bedroom apartment in Stanley, you still feel bougie.
Yeah. Because you are. Because you're bougie.
The neighbors thought that he was a dedicated family man and a successful entrepreneur. He gets elected to lead the HOA, teaches at a Presbyterian church, referees for some local volleyball games, and even gets involved in his son's Eagle Scouts. JR starts another company called Hydro Grow Incorporated. If it grows better hydroponically, which is clever. Claimed he was a pioneer, sought after consultant, lecturer, and author. All false. None of that's accurate. Neighbors said he was rude when asked about his business. One investor lost $25,000 after investing in JR's business, thinking he would make a quick profit to help his sick wife. He didn't make any money, and his wife died. Yeah. So there's the first of the awes, because there's more. So here's a point where I do want to take a pause. Let's get your guys' thoughts for a minute, because I mean, we are 4 pages in now, so we're like a third of the way through it, or less more than that. But people that are tuning in, thank you guys. We got several of you on TikTok and several of you on here. Thank you guys for hanging out. But let's go left to right. Obviously, I've been reading it, but what do you got, Sean?
Well, dude, okay, here's the thing. We've done plenty of these Singe things, so I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. The eyeballs in a bag in his basement or whatever it may be, because this almost has like a Dusk Till Dawn feeling, if you've ever seen that movie, where it's like, yeah, it's pretty bad up front, but like not so bad, and all of a sudden vampires, right? And that's just, so I'm kind of a bit holding back my emotion on this and getting invested into his kind of con man bullshit.
Right.
Because it just seems like something's coming around the bend. And the thing is, too, he looks like wholesome. He looks like somebody that was in a 1940s movie who's like, "Hey, Father, please forgive me." Like that kind of guy.
Yes.
And he just has that kind of wholesome look, which probably helped him with all of his bullshit. But, there's, I don't know. It almost feels like you can hear the piano wires over tightening as we're going, because it is failure after failure after failure after failure after failure, and something's got to give. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm
right.
A bit,
and this is the first. I think this is the first show where I haven't set it up to where I jumped back and forth, because the timeline is so messed up as you build it, that it doesn't need to be jumped back and forth, because you're just going to be like you're going to be like, I'm not surprised, but what the fuck?
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for, is the WTF.
Yeah.
So that's
right. What do you got, Thomas?
So I guess two quick things. So I don't know. I'm also an Eagle Scout, and I know that what I've got into job interviews and things like that, or just you hear your parents' friends talking, people who are in positions where they might be hiring people, and they always give you that well, I see Eagle Scout and that resume goes right to the top of the stack. People have this weird blind confidence in an Eagle Scout that's I mean, yes, it is admirable that you did something at a young age, but at the same time, it's I don't know, just this is not to hate on the Eagle Scouts, respect, but I just feel like that's such a silly prerequisite to like automatically hire somebody, you know?
Yeah.
Something so street. Like, man, I want to diss the Eagle Scouts, man. Mad spect, but
once an eagle, always an eagle. Represent.
Sorry.
Secondly, something not so savory, I guess, and I apologize if she ends up watching this, but my sister was had gotten herself in quite a bit of trouble. I think she had like 3 MIPs at the same time, but they were all in different counties, and so like none of them ever like talked to each other, so they didn't know that she had like a prior in another county, even though if it was like an adjacent county. So like this is kind of giving me those kind of vibes where it's like
I've been there.
He's kind of bouncing all over to where like this dude's like a menace to this city.
Yeah.
but
it gets better.
but nobody knows about it because like, oh, he did it up in Jackson County while he was also doing this in Douglas County, and this guy was over here in Johnson County, and like,
yeah,
it's like nobody. And also I have to remember like the time frame of this, like the time period that this was occurring, like everything is very analog. Everything is like pen and paper. Everything is like printed on documents. This isn't like the World Wide Web where you can just shoot it across the world in, the blink of an eye. So like, you know, people would leave their wives and move 10 miles away and start a whole new life. Nobody ever knew they were gone. I mean, nobody would know where they're at. So there's just like this web of things that I know that are coming together into something spectacular. I shouldn't use that word, but I know it's going to be.
It is. It's good. It gets. Yes, this is definitely like you're going to continue scooting to the edge of your seat. So he ends up fabricating a publicity stunt, claiming that he's a benefactor of the city of Stanley. And December 8th, 1977, that's 3 days after my birthday, just so everybody knows. In case you want to put it in your calendars and you guys want to give me anything, December 5th. Thanks.
Check.
So John Robinson is noticed in the Kansas City Times as Man of the Year for working on board of a workshop that employs disabled people. Totally false. Newspaper receives tons of calls from people who have lost money to this guy. So JR is finally starting to get some reputation as not the most positive person. The Kansas City Times learns he made his own plaque, promoted himself, and organized his whole lunch in his own honor.
Hell yeah. Good for him.
Then they exposed him in the papers for his scam. At this point, Nancy starts getting suspicious. I don't know. He's out womanizing. He's losing job after job after job. They're balancing back and forth between cities. And now she's like, you know what? Something's going on here, guys.
So
this has gone too far, John.
The 30th move, nothing. But the 31st move, she's like, hold on a second. Dude, are you dense? No, that's willfully ignorant is what that is.
Yeah. So she threatens to divorce him, but the kids beg her not to separate, so she stays. Oh, you should have fucking left.
I mean, this is on you.
I mean, it is. I mean, out of respect for your kids, you should
have been wearing that.
Right. I'm just saying, there's no sympathy in you staying for her. They don't understand. You should understand. So there's
this is that's what you get moment.
Yes.
Like everything after this fact is like, lady, that's what you get. Because even back, what year was this?
1979.
1979. Okay, so there's still some vestiges of the divorce was bad. Don't leave your man. You stick by him through thick and thin because they're from that generation. I kind of get it, but even this is just extreme. At this point where it's just like, no, dude, fuck right all the way off.
Yeah, but she also doesn't know, right? I'm assuming at this point she doesn't know about anything terribly sinister, shady, scamming money.
There's nothing that confirms she does or doesn't. But there's also no sources that say she does. And I would like to, at this point, say that she genuinely doesn't know. But there will be a point when you guys are like, okay, there's no way she doesn't know.
Is this my husband, the provider, and he's gonna do his best to provide for his family and put food on the table, but all that crap. So
but there's
I can only imagine that's her mindset. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
but
Right.
you're also and I know we've got 500 pages to get through, but just, dude, your intuition, all right? And I'm talking to JG and Thomas right now, all right?
Right.
And well, even our listeners, everybody.
Right.
Everybody's got gut instinct. Everybody's got intuition. Everybody's in, like, if your person is consistently out there just doing dirt, there's something, the energy is off,
Right.
and unless this woman was just completely dense or was just doing that thing where, oh my God, I remember a South Park episode where they thought that Stan was like murdering people and putting in the backyard, and the mom would come up and clean up the bodies and like, everything's okay, everything's good.
Yeah.
That's what this feels like, where she's just like, he's such a good boy.
Hey, hi, how
Yeah,
are you? I totally agree with your comment, by the way.
Yeah, I'm going to read it real quick and you can respond. Please remember, as a woman in certain positions, it's terribly difficult, and abuse even happens because of that, and people endure it as well. That's how difficult. I go ahead and talk. I'll say something, but you finish, Thomas.
Well, okay. Well, I don't know. I may have mentioned this in a couple of previous episodes, but I got my master's in social work. This is something I care quite a bit about. Like, this is something that I'm very serious about. But in this particular scenario where we're talking about this guy and this, what we're making light of things, this is supposed to be a little bit lighthearted. So please don't mistake any of my jokes for something that I'm not sensitive of this subject.
Right.
So I totally agree with you. So
right.
I don't want to take that for granted.
I came from that experience as a child, not only witnessing but enduring. So I also get it. But even as a kid, and again, I can't speak for my mother, but after 7 years of it, I feel like there was a point where she should have been like, okay, they can't be in this situation. And I do understand, again, I get what you're saying, and I can't even pretend to understand what her mind was going through at the time, because I have no idea. But as a 12-year-old kid living in that situation, right, I knew something wasn't right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if I'm at this developing point in my mental state to where I'm growing as a youth, and I don't want to take a pause on what we're talking about, because we got a lot to get to, but this does need light brought to it. And I do think that as a kid at 12 years old, my mind's developing. I'm starting to remember a lot of stuff. This was a crucial time, and I do remember it not being right, and then when she left, it just made it that much. At the point when she did finally leave, I felt like it was past whatever that time frame was, but that was just me as the kid,
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
Well, yeah, man. Well, I feel like they're probably still at that age where, like, when you're like a kid and you think that your parents can do no wrong, they're like not fallible. They cannot make mistakes. They're the end all, know all, everything about it. It's not so. I feel like, for me at least, it wasn't until I was quite a bit older where I started seeing, like, poking little holes and seeing that, like, my parents are actually, like, human, that they do make mistakes, they are wrong about things. But when you're a kid, you're so impressionable, and then, like, with a strong mother who's just trying to keep her family together and make sure that her kids are having as normal life as possible, and that everything just stays status quo. Like, what a weight to carry too. But sometimes you sacrifice yourself for what your kids will endure.
Right. And you don't need to feel sorry. It's not you. I don't, and I do appreciate the apology, but I never want somebody to apologize for something that they had no control over. Right. Like, I get that it's more of like a sympathetic kind of approach. But at the same point, I don't think it's necessary. Like, if you weren't the one that's involved, like, just having that ear or the understanding that, it happened is enough of a respect that I don't think it's necessary to add the sorry. Like, I feel like you guys are, but I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. I'm not going to take up for, somebody just because they're wearing the armor of a sympathetic character.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm just not going to do it, because you have no idea how complicit this person is. you know, and not that I disagree with the point that was brought up by our viewer. You know, I appreciate, you know, sharing of thoughts and the meeting of minds. And, you know, of course, domestic abuse is terrible, you know, and terrible things can come from it. We're all broken little toys, you know, I think, but we don't know this person or what the situation is. We are just given like basically this skeletal frame of what had happened. And just because, again, as I said, wearing the armor of a sympathetic character, oh, the mother, it's a female, she's trying to hold the family together, you know, back then. I'm not doing that because she might not have been a good guy.
Well, even she does say that at that point you have to stand up for the kid, you know, for the kids.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, let's not just, you know, get onto these hills and stab flags into the ground because of surface level considerations. There's a lot more going on, right?
Sure.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah, no, I really appreciate you putting in your comments, and I, of course, we always like to include you guys in this.
Mhm.
So thank you so much for hanging out with us. Hi. She's been a great supporter of me, actually on TikTok. She's watching on both platforms right now.
Nice.
So in 1980, he gets hired by Guy's Snack Food, which, if anybody you know what Guy's potato chips are, they're located here in Kansas City.
no, that's fine.
Yeah, he gets employed as the employee relations manager.
Okay.
The employer says he is good with people and intelligent. Starts affair with secretary immediately, and as well as starts stealing money. He rents an apartment with that money in Olathe, Kansas, to take his women. Because remember, he's a womanizer. This whole time, all this is going on, he's still out there. He's leaving Nancy at home. He's going and hooking up and doing his thing. Now he's got his own place specifically for that, off the money he's stealing from companies. What do you got, Sean?
Can I ask a question of our viewers, both men and
Yes.
women? Is he a good-looking guy? Like, I have no opinion on it.
I think, you know, even as a straight man, I guess I don't think he's like, damn, I can see why people want him. But you know, but he legitimately looks like a decent businessman. I mean, he doesn't look odd.
Kind of
Okay.
a moon face fella. He looks like he's on aging bear on the right side there. So
I like that description. Okay, what? He's not
he's a clean cut fella, you know.
Yeah, he's clean.
ugly, just not my type. Okay. All right. Well, I didn't know because what's womanizer, you know? So
Yeah, he's out. I mean, he's out there. He's out there pulling women.
he's
at the
must be
clubs.
charismatic as shit. That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, if he's getting these decent jobs and fucking him up and then getting another decent job after another decent job, there's got to be something in there that goes. It says Papa on the right. She said. That's good. That's good. I like it.
That's great.
But he has to feel like he's unstoppable at a point.
Yeah.
She said he could pull a few slick ones.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
That's where
Okay.
I'm at. I'm like, if he came home, if I saw him walk out of a club with a decent looking woman, I wouldn't be surprised. Like
Yeah.
you see those couples where every now and then they're like, what? Like, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
It's that hog dick.
Okay.
Works every time. Excuse me while I whip this out.
No, you forget he talks like this. Hey, fada. Excuse me, I'll work this out. Eh?
All right, so within just a few months, he steals tens of thousands of dollars,
Oh my God.
and the secretary falls madly in love with him. She threatens to turn him in if he doesn't leave his wife and marry her,
No.
which he doesn't, and she turns him in. Guy's company presses felony theft charges against him, which he ends up paying back $50,000. He faces 7 years in prison and only serves 60 days, and then his probation is extended 5 years.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys. We're still only on page 3. I'm sorry. This is gonna be a long show. But I'm trying. Nancy and JR start seeing this marriage counselor because she's starting to have her doubts again for a second time, and the marriage counselor ends up convincing her to stay.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Is that the
JR.
only thing that happened? Because I really thought you were going to say he started sleeping with a counselor.
But wait, there's more.
No, there's no more. So let's see. He starts another company called Equa Plus as a managing consultant service. JR rents a suite for his company that doesn't exist. Back Care Systems, a local company, hires Equa Plus to create marketing plan for him. Equa Plus starts receiving extremely high invoices without receiving anything. The CEO hires a private investigator to gather information, then goes to the Johnson County DA, which launches another investigation. JR lawyers up and is told to obtain affidavits from his customers, which he then forged many affidavits. The investigation takes several years. He starts another consulting service called Equa Plus 2. Oh, just Equa 2. I'm sorry, there's no plus this time. It's just Equa 2. There's no Equa Plus.
It's not the same at all.
No, it's just Equa 2. Equa Plus, Equa 2, whatever. It's just Equa 2. I guess that sounds better than plus. Plus 2 makes it sound like there's another company or another person. Well, I guess there is another company.
I have no shortage of excellent company
extra
names.
Pluses. He rents a duplex off of Troost Avenue for the office. I want to take a moment, Thomas. What do you know about Troost Avenue?
So I know there's like some history behind it. I feel like it's kind of a dividing line. But then also it depends on where you're at in the city. But a lot of times the street Troost can be synonymous with crime, poverty, a scary place to be, somewhere you don't want to be at night, things like that. Where I live, I am north of the river. Troost is pretty pleasant. It's just a continuation of my street. If I go down the road, it just turns into Troost. So certain parts of the city, it has a pretty serious connotation. Where it's
you're gonna find out which
to be there.
Yes. She said I'm starting a consultant company and I don't know jack shit about it. I just know I could bullshit it.
Yeah.
If he can do it, you can do it. It grows hydroponically. Okay,
why not me? When's gonna be my time?
All right, so he starts an Equa 2 Plus off of Troost Avenue, and he turns a duplex. He rents a part of a duplex and turns it into instead of an office. He hires a sex worker to run a profitable bordello. That's right. Which quickly gains reputation as a hardcore BDSM location.
That's right.
Now is where we're releasing the car. Remember that car, the figurative car?
Yeah.
Now we've just released that vehicle.
We're peeling those layers back, baby. Trying to let your freak flag fly.
All right. So in the summer of 1984, JR hires 19-year-old Paula Godfrey. She's excited to work for a legitimate businessman. He tells her that she would be enrolled in clerical training program in San Antonio. Paula goes missing September 1st, 1964. All right. Okay. I said missing.
Okay.
After JR picks her up from her parents' house and takes her to the airport, she's supposed to call her parents that evening to let her know that she arrived. She never does. So her father goes to San Antonio to find out that she never actually checked into her hotel and flies back to Kansas City that's next day to confront JR. He acts worried, and her dad threatens. He acts worried about her, like he doesn't know. He dropped her off, whatever. And the dad threatens that there will be trouble if he doesn't hear from her within a few days. The next day, he receives a letter in the mail, handwritten from Paula, saying that she's doing fine, grateful to JR for the opportunity, and she doesn't want to see her family for a while. Interesting.
Okay.
The letter had profanity, which was unlike her. Her father didn't recognize the signature, so he turns it into the Overland Park Police, which conclude that the note was legit because first off, she's of age, and there's no evidence that she was actually that anything happened to her. She's 19. December 18th, 1984, private PO Stephen Hames receives a call from Ann Smith, who works for a nonprofit called Birthright that counsels young single mothers in need of support, and says that JR has been calling to inquire for single mothers for his organization called Kansas City Outreach, providing 6 months job training, housing, and other assistance to single moms. Yeah. So it's going to keep digging.
Oh, no.
Do you guys want to say anything before I continue, or should I just keep going?
I mean, we got a lot to get through, but it's starting to get real juicy.
Yeah. What do you guys, Sean? You agreed?
It was all fun and games, and we're having lots of laughs until the girl goes missing, and I know Thomas and I are just like, okay, let the shoe drop.
Right.
Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. So he says that his companies like Xerox and IBM have been investing into his organization, and he was wanting Birthright to refer candidates to him. And she asked if whenever she would call, he would always ask if they were white or black. She was worried because he would only be interested in the white ones, because she said that apparently during this time, white babies, and again, this is explicit. It's going to get worse. And I'm going to watch how I phrase it for TikTok. But apparently white babies sell for more on the black market. So she's worried because she's thinking that, this is what he's into. And he could have been. He definitely could have been. So Officer Hames took info to the local judge, John Hudgerson, who asks him to look into the case or into this. There is another young girl named Lisa that meets JR in 1985. She knows him as John Osborne. He tells her that he runs. Yeah. What do you got, Sean?
No, like one of my good, it's not the same guy, everybody. Okay. But one of my good buddies that lives up here in this region where I'm at is a very talented headliner named John Osborne.
Is he in his late 80s?
No, that's what I'm saying. Not the same dude, but it just hearing the name, like, oh shit, nope, good dude.
That's also Ozzy Osbourne's real name. So
right, yeah.
R.I.P.
Right,
yeah.
R.I.P. Shout out to him. So he tells her that he runs Echo 2, promises her a job in Texas making $1,800 a month, and would help her get her diploma. So JR takes Lisa, and I guess she has a baby. So sorry. I missed a spot. My apologies. There's a Truman Medical Center, which are you familiar with that, Thomas?
Yeah, you don't really want to go there.
No, they actually refer her to John Osborne. So this is a medical company, refers Lisa and her baby, her 19-year-old Lisa and her baby, to JR. Great. Now we got these big organizations sending kids directly to him.
Feeding them.
So JR takes Lisa and her baby, and he puts them up in Roadway Inn in Overland Park, which Roadway Inn will be his pretty much motel of choice throughout the show. Near the office for the company. January 9th, she visits her sister-in-law, Kathy Klingensmith, during a blizzard. Lisa calls the motel to check her messages and finds out that JR was looking for her. So she gives Kathy's number to the motel. JR calls Kathy, says he is coming right over to get Lisa and the baby. He parks down the street. He doesn't even pull into her driveway or up to her house. He just parks down the street. She lets him in, and he doesn't even acknowledge that Kathy's there. He's immediately invested in Lisa and the baby and getting them out of the house. Kathy is trying to convince Lisa not to go, because she's like, there's something off about this guy. But she goes anyways. Lisa then calls Kathy's, who's back at the hotel, to tell, and her mother-in-law Betty answers. I'm sorry, guys. I know there's a lot of ums and ahs, but there's a lot to read here. Lisa's crying and says that she was forced to sign 4 papers or else she would lose her baby. Betty tells her to quit signing any documents, and Lisa quickly ends the call saying that she has to go there here. The Klingensmiths call Overland Park police, who go to the motel, and Lisa and baby are gone, checked out of the motel, and paid by Equa 2. Kathy and her husband David go to Equity office where David confronts JR, who asks about Lisa and baby. JR responds angrily for David thinking he did anything to them and pushes David out of the office. Later, David receives a call from Father Martin at City Union Mission stating that Lisa and the baby are fine and JR is a good guy. Later on, David tries. So a couple days later, David tries reaching out to the City Union to talk to Father Martin again, and no one by that name has ever worked there. Shocking.
Of course.
Shocking. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, this is Father Martin.
JR. Wait, what did I do? Okay.
You guys ever put references on like a resume and you just put all your friends' names down, and friends' numbers? Just like, yeah, this was my boss, and it's just like your buddy you grew up with. Yeah, great guy.
So JR ends up bringing a baby home to Nancy with no explanation, and she doesn't ask any questions.
Put it back.
he states that he paid $4,000 from a private adoption agency, and his brother Don and his wife Helen are flying in the next day to take custody of the child. In 1983, so we're jumping back just a little bit here, but in 1983, Don had told his brother they had been trying to adopt since they were infertile, but it was difficult and was asking his brother for help. So JR at this point picks him up from the airport, telling them how hard it had been for him working with the lawyers to get all the documents, which then he hands over some documents and a birth certificate, all forced. They're all forged, I mean. And then he drives him back to the Equity office where his brother Don signs over a $3,000 check. JR said that the baby's mom died of suicide. So Lisa is now missing. This baby randomly appears at their house, which he gives to Don and them. And I'm sure you guys can see what happened here without me saying anything. Haynes, so PO off the parole officer Haynes. Is it probation officer or what's PO?
Probation officer.
Yes.
Probation officer. Okay. John Haynes sends a letter to JR demanding that he comes to see him in the office, and JR ignores it. He sends a second letter saying that he must come in by January 24th. At this point, JR does come in, and he says him and 5 business owners were actually trying to help single moms. He ensures that Lisa and the baby are totally okay. Hames is obviously suspicious because JR will not get him in touch with him. Hames finds from relatives that some typed letters were sent to Betty, so that's the mother-in-law of Kathy, her sister-in-law, something like that. I don't know. It's processes. It's a relative. The one that answered the phone when she called back to Kathy's house. Okay. She's what was it? Hold on. Sorry. So the type letter was sent to Betty stating that she appreciated the help, but they have decided to leave Kansas City. This was a red flag because it didn't sound like her, and she also didn't know how to type. January 30th of 1985, officer goes to JR's office demanding contact for Lisa, which JR states a man named Bill left with him just a few days ago, and they went to Colorado. But wouldn't you know it? There's no contact information. FBI launches a sting operation, having a female agent go undercover as a sex worker to try and catch JR. I need to scroll down. Hold on. I'm scrolling down. She makes contact. He says he runs a business employing call girls making up to $3,000 a month if willing to travel, and she must be willing to submit to hardcore BDSM. She says she's willing to do it, but she's pulled from the investigation for worry that she might get hurt, which was a smart move on their end.
Yeah, probably.
No arrest was made because they wanted to bust him for something more serious. March 21st, 1985, JR.
His probation another 6 months.
Yeah, another 6 months. Probation or parole is what she High says. Yes, yeah, you're correct. And in hold on. March 21st, 1985, JR is arrested when reporting to a PO for financial dwindling. He quickly makes bail several hours later. So a little jump back in 1984, Teresa Williams met JR. So this does jump a little bit back and forth in the timeline as far as when he meets people, because some of the stuff does overlap. So keep that in mind. Teresa Williams meets JR, who offers her money to move in to the Truce duplex, and is forced into sex work. He once paid her $1,200 to go to a wealthy man's mansion, where he tied her to a rack and stretched her until she screamed in pain, where he released her, but he was pissed off because she couldn't endure the pain. JR then orders her to return the money.
Huh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. In May of 1985, JR enters the duplex while Teresa's still living there. So now we're back to the present, right? So where Teresa was sleeping, he grabs her and throws her on the over his knees and begins spanking her. She starts screaming, so he throws her to the ground and inserts a gun into her. I'm going to say into her because I don't want to cross any boundaries, but I'm sure you guys can. It's not good. The into her part is not relating to a good place. But that is what happened. And he says, "I bet you've never had a blowout," and then leaves the duplex.
All right.
June 7th, 2 federal agents make a visit to the duplex and speak to Teresa, who lies and says she does data processing for Equa2. The agents told her they believe 2 women involved with JR's business were missing and possibly exed, and that she might be his next victim. At this point, Teresa opens up. JR had pulled all of her property into a storage unit during this time. He shows up while the agents are there. The agents introduce themselves, and he quickly had somewhere to be and leaves. Shocking. All right. Hey, guys, we're almost on page 6. All right. So Teresa goes into FBI custody at this point. JR quickly hires a PI to track her down. She moves 3 times. And when the PI actually makes contact with her, the FBI intercept the call and move her out of state. Go FBI. Woo.
Woo woo.
Yep.
Right.
So in August of 1985, JR is sentenced to 7 years in prison, but is allowed to remain free pending his appeal. January of 1986, JR is found guilty for submitting $3,600 in false billing, also charged with $50,000 for being middleman for a condo sale in Arizona, collected $150K from a buyer and only gave $100 to the owner. He's sentenced to 5 to 14 years, but again, he is still awaiting appeal on the original charge. This last one, and then we'll take a little chat break because that'll be halfway. January 1987, still waiting to begin sentence. A young woman at the age of 27 years old, Catherine, comes to KC to stay with her brother. She gets a job with Equa2. Her brother starts seeing her less and less. Catherine was supposed to have a meeting with JR June 15th and disappears. After a week, she is reported missing, and she has never been found. All right, so let's take a little pause here. What are we thinking? What are our thoughts? Whether it's the chat or you guys up in the panel, what do you got?
It's wild, dude. I'm trying to decide if this guy's in panic mode or if he just as cool as a cucumber this entire time. You know, like you see like in movies and stuff where like everybody is just like things are starting to break down. You know, and you start making panic moves. And you start trying, and that's when you really start slipping. Or
Right.
is this just like a big fat game? You know,
There's a point where I'm like, how is he juggling all
like
this?
he's leaving little Easter eggs along the way, like it's all part of the plan in the first place, and it's
Right.
just like fun for him. You know, I don't know, but I mean this in the best / worst possible way. But this is impressive, man.
It is.
That's impressive.
It is.
Yeah.
What do you got, Sean?
No, I agree with how the hell do you have that much energy? Like I currently have 4 jobs. All right. And I'm 7 days a week and I'm exhausted like constantly from all the stuff that I do. And this guy is making me tired because
Just
now,
listening. Yeah.
well, it
I'm
is.
having a hard enough time reading it.
Well, and he's juggling all this stuff on top of murder. Like this guy just needs to die. And the fact that they keep getting it's just like, and I'm sure they had nothing to hold him on. So that's, like he shows up, the FBI agents are there and he's like, oh, I've got a ham in the oven. And they're just like, okay, have a nice life.
Yeah. Well, it's also, I'm wondering if they're sitting there going like, oh, that happened in Kansas City. Well, we're OP, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was up north. Okay. Well, that's not really our jurisdiction. So you'll have to deal with that at a later date. So they're it's like they're taking pieces one thing at a time, like based on geography. And they just
Dave, I do want you to know, sorry to cut you off, Thomas.
No, you're good.
She says on TikTok, how's he still out of jail at this point? I agreed. Whether there's an appeal pending, if you're adding charges, book that dude while you're waiting on the appeal. Seriously, like, what are you guys doing?
They had so many opportunities to do something with this guy, and it was just more parole, or probation, whatever. They kept kicking the can down the road, and I would love to know why. So why did they just keep extending and doing and he's out on appeal, no there's this, no there's this reason. It's like, nah, this guy's obviously a piece of shit.
It's clear. It's very clear. So let's keep going. All right, summer of 1987, JR goes to prison. Nancy, not being able to afford the property, sells she sells their property in 1988, and that's also my birth year, everybody, just so you know, that's my birth year, 1988, and moves into an apartment in Stanley. JR starts complaining about back pain pretty quickly, and actually suffers several strokes, which cause a slight slack to the right side of his face, but his vocabulary and his physical abilities are still strong, unfortunately. He starts a computer training program while he's in prison and writes software, saving the prison $100,000 a year. Yay, what a nice guy.
Yeah. Good guy, JR.
Good job, JR.
What's the malware that he's got in the background stealing money?
Right.
Now it's giving Shawshank Redemption there.
That's good. Okay, so JR argues his health problems were life-threatening and he should be released. In May of 1991, he writes a letter saying his illnesses are degenerative and without long-term treatment will continue to get worse. Dr. William Bonner examines JR, who says he is not as sick as he claims. Thank you, Dr. William Bonner, for acknowledging that. The Missouri board orders him to continue serving the additional 2 years of his sentence. At the Western Missouri Correctional Center in Cameron, Missouri, JR runs into 49-year-old Beverly Bonner. That's Bonner. That's the wife of Dr. William Bonner.
Okay.
I'm sure you guys could probably see where this is going.
I'm hoping not.
Who works in the prison library. They previously worked together at Mobil Oil. You remember back in the day? Yeah. And they quickly start having an affair.
I knew it.
49-year-old JR gets released in the summer of 1993, but continues to sleep with Beverly. He says he needs a business partner, so she starts divorce papers, and in February of 1994, they're finalized. And she is now president of the company Hydrogrow, and James Turner is the secretary, which is an alias. So I told you guys it gets better. JR asked Beverly to sign some blank sheets of paper so that when she is overseas for work, he can write letters to her family. Oh, what a swell guy! I didn't know they couldn't send letters overseas. That's crazy.
No, dude. Okay, back to his. I didn't remember his original wife's name at this point. Nancy. For God's sake, dude, Thomas.
Yes.
If anybody came to you and said, "Hey, Tom, would you sign these blank? Put your signature on these blanks because I want to send letters to your loved ones."
Yeah, what a terrible, terrible idea.
Hey, thank you. Thank you.
It's like just like signing a couple of checks. Just like, let me just sign a couple of these checks. You just have them, if you need If you need anything, you know what to do with them.
Yeah.
Right.
I know
Yeah.
you're a stranger. That's all right.
What does power of attorney? Don't worry about that. Just sign it.
Just sign. It's a blank sheet. You don't even know what it's for. It's no big deal. Just a blank sheet.
I'm gonna write.
I'm gonna write the message. It's fine. You can trust me.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I'm a man. Okay.
You can trust me. Why do you
you
keep
can trust
winking at me every time you say shit? No reason.
Yeah.
Don't you trust me? Why are you even questioning me right now? Just sign it. That's all I'm asking.
Oh my god. All right. Anyway. Okay.
All right. So Stu and her family starts receiving letters about how much fun she's having. Before she left, he rented a storage locker and is seen rolling a metal barrel into the storage unit.
Oh my god.
Beverly's family never sees her again after leaving in 1994. In 1995, her son passes, and she does not return for his funeral, but her mom continues receiving letters until 1997.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the time frame's perfect, right?
Yeah.
That's how I feel like she was. Like, oh, for sure, that's a fantastic idea.
But again, it goes back to this dude's energy expenditures.
Mhm.
Writing letters, continuing to write letters. Like, there are so many times in the middle of a day, I'll forget, like, I'll walk into a room and not remember why I was going in there. But this guy is like, oh, I've got to write a letter to this metal drum chick's mom. You know,
Right.
He must have had an amazing Excel spreadsheet, of just shit that he had to do to keep up.
Right. He just got, yeah, I just see him have like an old, like first stages of Microsoft, just spreadsheet, like an Excel spreadsheet, whatever the very first model was.
Yeah.
He's over here like creating like, equations. What, not equations? What are they called when they plug in like the algorithm, whatever. Anyways, and he's over there typing away, trying to hide his numbers.
Yeah.
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 I just had one of those giant calendars that like your mom had in the kitchen. Just like everybody's
Like,
Tuesday.
what is the red line on that means? Oh, that's murder. Sorry.
Watch it. I didn't get any.
I know.
We're good. I didn't get anything. I didn't get any notice. We're fine. But I'm surprised we haven't had a notice yet, to be honest. So,
Good job, boys.
so since Beverly's divorce, she had letters forwarded to a P.O. box at the mailroom in Olathe, Kansas. Her ex sent a total of 18 $1,000 payments, settlement checks to Beverly every month after the divorce, and they were all deposited by JR. And the same year that Bethany disappeared in 1994, two more women will become in contact with JR. 49-year-old Sheila Faith and her 16-year-old physically disabled daughter, Debbie. After the death of, after the unaliving of Debbie's dad in 1991, Sheila became the sole provider, and they lived off of $1,600 a month. Debbie had cerebral palsy and spina bifida. So tough. Sheila used online chat rooms to find romance until she starts a relationship with a farmer named John that lives in Kansas or maybe even Missouri. As they start talking on the phone, Sheila decides she wants to meet John in the summer of 1994 because they'd already planned a trip to Texas. One day during the trip, they're in Colorado, and John just shows up.
Of course he does. It's amazing.
We're gonna wait a second for John to come back, but yeah.
Oh, I'm here.
All right.
All this is giving me upset stomach. I had to get some Tums.
All right. So you heard what I said about him showing up when they're in Colorado? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And he ends up taking them to Kansas City, and they're never seen from again. Before they left for the road trip, Sheila asked her neighbors to check her mail, which included the $1,600 disability checks. But the mail stopped showing up. Sheila's mail was being forwarded to a P.O. box in Olathe, Kansas.
Of course it
Where JR will end up picking up all 152 checks.
does.
Worth over $80,000. Sheila's brother starts getting typed letters from her saying that her and Debbie are fine. He buys his in end of 1995, JR turned 52. His oldest son has a kid, so he's now a grandpa. He buys his son a $95,000 2-bedroom ranch in Florida. Nancy and JR move to Santa Barbara Trailer Park in Olathe, where Nancy becomes the manager of the whole park. JR starts Specialty Publications, which publishes free magazines that rely on advertisements to make money. During the day, JR was on computers and chat rooms, mostly BDSM related, searching for new victims. Okay, so during this time frame, anybody that is young will not remember AOL or AIM, but this time frame, right? So this is the end of 95. So internet's in the it's out there. But there is AOL dial-up. There's a lot of these chat rooms starting to come out. And I do remember AIM being a thing around this time frame. And they did have chat rooms that you could go into to talk to people.
Totally unregulated. I dodged a lot.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Compared to today, yeah. God. I remember being like 11 and like being in there and on the computer late at night with my cousins, and we'd like just be giggling about some of the names of the chat rooms.
Oh, yeah. Well, and then you'd like try and get away with just saying like absurd shit to people. And like,
yeah. And yet not even knowing what it actually meant.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. Do you guys remember there was like the acronym ASL?
Yeah.
It stood for age, sex, location. And people would just throw that out there. Hey, stranger from wherever you are, like to get to know you, ASL. You're like, oh, I'm 10 years old and I'm a little boy.
And so began late into the night. That's funny.
Yeah. Or I'm a 14-year-old teenage girl just at home alone. My parents are gone for the weekend. Girl, you know.
Oh my god.
We're gonna party.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Most of the chat rooms he's in are BDSM related, searching for new victims. Let me scroll. Hey, we're halfway through 7, guys. JR finds an ad on the Wild Side section of the Pitch Weekly, from which, if you're not familiar, Pitch it used to be called the Penny Pitch, which was like a free weekly newspaper. And you could go, you remember like those, like the strip malls, and they'd have like the little stands with newspaper things for you to go grab.
Yeah,
it's still like a little local paper with like local goings on. And
yeah, right. They have those up here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So everybody's familiar. We're good. So let's see here. So he meets, he finds Alicia Cox, and her post says SBF, which is a single black female looking for mature male to take care of her, and I'll take care of you. JR tells her that he's married, but they don't have, they don't get it on. And he would pay her $2,000 a month to have, stuff to get it on whenever he wants, and allow him to do whatever he wants. And she agrees. In the fall of 1998, Alicia wants JR to get her a job in entertainment. He says that he needs documentation with her social security number and signature to help.
Excuse me.
She gives up her apartment when he says he would hire her to travel overseas for his business after he gives her a social security and signature. That's a real smart move. Alicia becomes frustrated when he continues to change departure dates because she's ready to go. She wants to go overseas like he promised.
I have a question.
Sure.
How do we just rando all of a sudden? She's like, I want a job in entertainment. Like, where did that even come from?
Right. Well, because look at him. She's probably like, a guy, right?
Okay.
This guy's connected. Yeah, for sure.
Sure. Yeah, that wasn't out of left field at all.
In the classifieds and on the internet, which now there is tons of them.
Maybe he sweet talked her. He's like, I can make you a star, baby. Yeah. She's like, oh, my name in lights.
JR asked her to rewrite some letters with travel dates to her family because she is going to be busy while she's traveling. One night, JR stays the night at the motel, which was rare. He always would go home after they did their thing. He shows up to the motel with a trailer attached to the truck, and at 5 a.m. she wakes up, which wakes him up and pisses him off. So he leaves the motel and tells her to meet him at the restaurant at 10 a.m. to head to the airport, and he never shows. She calls him multiple times and he never answers, so she ends up jobless and homeless and moves in with her family. Several months later, he finds her on another ad, and they resume their relationship, but it fades pretty quick. Luckily, it faded quick, okay? The fact that she even gave it another opportunity is freaking ridiculous.
It's that hog, man. I told you.
That thing must be gold-plated, diamond-studded.
She knew.
Just
right.
ridiculous.
In 1997, JR is also is chatting with a Polish college student named Isabella Lewicka from Indiana. Isabella found paganism and BDSM and cult lifestyle and starts chatting online with a man from Kansas who is an international book agent looking for a secretary. She tells her parents she's going to KC for an internship. Once at KC, she sends her new address and then doesn't. They don't hear from her for 2 months. They show up. She shows up to Kansas. They show up to Kansas City after the 2 months to the address that they were given, and it's just a mailbox in Overland Park, Kansas. They never find her and don't know where to look, so they go back home. Her father feels something is off and starts writing her in Polish with information that only her family would know, and she responds in Polish. So at this point in time, they believe, they being the officers and that are involved in this case, that she might have still actually been alive and she was just fine with the situation she was in. Isabella files a marriage license with John Anthony Robinson in 1997. Starts Johnson County Community College, and she's telling her classmates how happy she is with her much older husband. She ends up signing a 115-item contract that gave JR complete control of her life in exchange for taking care of her financially. And in March of 1998, JR leaves an apartment for Isabella in Olathe, or rents an apartment in Olathe, Kansas, for her to run their business. It's pretty repetitive. I mean, it's different, but it's very repetitive.
It's like the same story over and over again.
Eventually, Isabella quits communicating with her parents in Polish and demands all writing be in English because that's her husband's language. She told them she would be traveling around the world with her husband. And at one point, she mentions her sister's nickname, which suppresses their worries for a moment. In the late 90s, JR sells his property in Florida and purchases 16 acres in Lacine, Kansas. Lacine, Kansas is very like hillbilly, backwoods, small community, rural. Nice. They got some good lakes for fishing.
It's like Prairie View High School down there, I think. Prairie View, Lacine, something like that.
Yeah. So, still living in the trailer park in Olathe, JR befriends a maintenance man named Carlos, who he starts bragging about his properties and the women that will sleep with him whenever he wants and however he wants. Carlos's mom visits from Mexico, and JR asks her to take some envelopes home and mail them to people in the States. Said his friend was on the run because he owed some money to some people, and his mom did it. JR invites Carlos to his property in Lacine and says he wants to build a fishing dock for his pond and asks for 4 85-gallon large barrels.
Yes. Yes, he does.
Yep. Yeah, of course he does. Of course he does. Ugh. Carlos gets him in contact with someone who sells 6 of them for $15 a piece. April 11th, 2000, for Isabella's 21st birthday, her parents sent her a check for a gift. Around this time, people stopped seeing Isabella. JR ends his lease on the property she was living in, tells people she was deported back to Czechoslovakia after being caught smoking weed. During all of this, let's just add another layer to it. In 1998, he reconnects with his childhood friend Barbara Sandre. She was a translator in England. He mailed her a few pre-addressed letters and asked her to mail them back from England to the addresses on them, which she does. I don't get that, because at this time, I don't feel like it should be that surprising to be curious as to why the fuck you're doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. You were just like, somebody just requests like a meaningless task. You're like, well, I guess it's no skin off my back. You're just like, all right, whatever.
Right.
But
Keep you happy, whatever.
fuck sake, dude. Not one scintilla of just pause. Because if I'm telling you straight up, if somebody asked me to do that, if our good buddy Pat asked me to do that from here, hey, could you mail a couple things back? That's my boy. I love Pat, but I would still be like, why?
Yeah, they're
Why,
pre-addressed. Like, why are you mailing me something to mail for you?
Yeah, because this is just weird, dude. This is just weird. And
Right.
he would probably come up with some, ridiculous explanation that has to do with teddy bears or whatever he's got going on. And fine, but not even a moment's hesitation. And that's one of the things that seems that is very consistent with a lot of these people that are dealing with this guy. It just doesn't sound like there's, whatever he's coming up with, they're just like, yeah, I'll go along with it. Fine.
Like, if he approached me, and he was dressed like the younger self with work-related stuff, and he put on a good performance, I can honestly say I could possibly be swindled. I honestly, off the bat. But as far as like an envelope or a letter or anything along those terms, actually, even if I responded to a BDSM ad and saw him, I would be like, you? What? Hold on, wait, what a minute. Are you sure? Are you sure you're you?
I know. I don't know. I've always been in a position where I'm more willing to help than I am like resistant to help. So I'm like, I don't know. It's just easy to. This stuff doesn't really it doesn't phase me. It doesn't really put me out at all. I'm just like, all right, well, whatever, man. Yeah, okay, fine. Kind of weird, but okay. I don't know.
Not me, brother. Conspiracy theorist through and through, man.
Yeah.
I would see this and it's like, I don't know, man. Did you ever see Avengers Endgame where Doctor Strange goes through the 14 million possibilities in one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody sends some shit like that to me, my brain starts working okay, what is this about? Because in this instance, I would be 100% correct. And this is why I question shit, because of insanity like this.
Right. So, he reconnects in 1998 with Barbara, and she mails the letters. Barbara and JR start talking daily, and she even visits him a few times. He convinces her to move back to the States and live with him, and she does in July of 1999. They get an apartment and open a joint checking account and work together on his fake publishing company.
Of course.
A few months later, he buys a duplex in Overland Park. She notices quickly that he only visits for sex. She gets tired of it and moves to Canada, but they stay in contact. And now she's JR's, escape plan, right? He's like, okay, at least I got now. On February 14th, 2000, a woman named Suzette moved to a motel in Overland Park to be a caretaker for JR's dad, which she did not know had passed away a decade before. JR would show up occasionally for sex and photos. Suzette mostly just emailed friends and family. The last week of February, he tells her they are going to California to take his yacht to Hawaii. He tells her before they go, she needs to sign 30 blank sheets of paper and address 40 envelopes to her friends and family because they will be so busy. I know I'm talking most of this time, guys. I'm sorry. But I thought this was a really good case. This is crazy.
It's incredible.
It's fine. It's just when he calls these women and they pick up the phone and he says hello and they're like, duh! He's like, okay, you're a winner. Come on.
Come on, I got you. And again, Nancy is still married to this guy. How is he doing all of this and being a dad?
She's still in the picture. Where's she at?
For decades. She's at home with the kids.
Where? He's
remember she's managing. Wait, no, now she's managing the trailer park. Remember?
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
It's a working lady.
Yeah, she's a working lady because he's on the computer chatting on lines while she's working.
God.
Okay, so they get she knows blah 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 blah. Suzette mostly just emailed her. Last week of February, he tells her that I told you about the blank sheets. Also, JR records a sex film of them, which will later be used in his trial. At 2 a.m. February
taste.
on 2 a.m. February 29th, Suzette emails back and forth with a friend. She calls her mom around 1 a.m. and tells her she would be leaving for California. The next day, JR calls Suzette and tells her it's time to leave, but first he wants to swing by his property and lay scene. And she is never seen from again. We're almost there, guys.
You don't just swing by Lacine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
just gotta swing by my property real quick, guys. Yeehaw. Gotta go feed them cows. They gotta feed themselves. Yacht, where? Let's go. I'm in. Do you want a rubber stamp with my signature? Sure. Let's go see this yacht. Hi, thanks for hanging out. It's an hour and a half in. You've been here the whole time. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks
killing it.
Killing it. Appreciate it.
Grinding out with us.
Yeah. Okay. So March 1st, JR. Oh, yeah, they're leaving. November 2nd, JR assembles. Wait, hold on. That's a jump. Okay. November 2nd, JR reassembles Suzette's computers because he's got her property in a storage unit. He starts emailing her friends talking about her trips. I think that was not. I think that was meant to be. That, hold on. This is supposed to be March 2nd, not November. It must have been a typo on my end. So March 2nd. So the next day after, JR reassembles her stuff because she had packed it all up because they were leaving.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I don't want to throw everybody off because of my.
You're right. You're right.
Okay. So that's March 2nd. And then March 6th, Suzette's mother receives a letter from her signed by Suzette. She's suspicious because it's too detailed, talking about being on the West Coast, but addressed from Kansas City. Mm. So he's starting to get sloppy. He's got all this stuff he's doing really well at.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting better and better. Thank you. Thank you. So after 2 weeks of no contact with her, her mom calls Lenexa Police Department. And this is also a suburb of Kansas. Kansas City has a ton of suburbs.
I grew up in Lenexa.
Well, yeah, I grew up in. I lived in. Well, I'm very familiar. I lived in Lenexa for a while.
Yeah.
And reports her missing and says that she sadly says that she did not. Wait, hold on. So the officers reach out and he answers saying that she didn't accept his job offer and went on the trip without him. She actually goes with a guy named Jim Turner, which if you remember earlier, there's a James Turner. So she does not believe him and says that he will be. Hold on. Wait, what? I am all over the place here. Reports are missing. Suzette had given her mom JR's cell phone. Okay. So Suzette ends up calling JR because she has his cell phone number. He answers and said that she had gone on a trip. She does not believe him, so she calls the police. Now JR is worried because there's contact. And he plans on moving to Canada with Barbara. He starts planning it. Okay. We can take a little break here. Let's take a little break. I'm reading so much, it's like throwing me way off.
What year are we at this point?
At this point, we are in a few lines down is 2000, so like 1998, 1999.
In Lenexa, yeah.
In Lenexa, Kansas.
I was there.
This guy's still alive. Can we just go to his prison and beat the shit out of him?
Right, right.
Like us, fans, everybody.
Right. Initially, I had it to where I had two screens up, and I was trying to toggle between the frames. But then when it kept messing up, I just pulled out another laptop. But this is an old beat up laptop, so I'm having to literally push down each line. So like while I'm reading, I'm sitting here pushing down, and it's throwing me off while we're talking. Yeah.
Dude, you're doing a fine job.
I'm trying so hard. It's so much stuff.
So convoluted and crazy. I'm tired. I'm tired of trying to keep a track of all of the shenanigans.
I seriously feel like I've just worked a 7-hour shift, and I still got another hour to go.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I'm sitting here just thinking, like, whoever commented said it best. Yeah, this guy sounds like a narcissist, and I think that's like totally spot on. And it's definitely about control.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, being able to manipulate any situation for exactly how you want it. It just goes back to that very first quote that you tossed out there. Whenever he did speak, what was it? Whenever he did speak.
It was
He created the environment that he was
how he
trying
wanted to
achieve.
portray it. Yeah, he
Yeah.
portrayed it how he wanted
Oh
to.
yeah, this guy's a mastermind.
Yeah, it really does. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Yes.
It's
Yes.
incredible. It's
I
incredible.
would say borderline sociopath. I mean, they're
Well, borderline. Oh, okay. I think we're full blown here, pal. I think
no, I don't know the guy personally, but I'm just saying like that. Okay, so that I'm going for my PhD in psychology, and like the actual like that diagnosis is really, they get really weird about pinning like, oh yeah, dyed in the wool, full blown. But I don't disagree with you,
yeah.
I mean, even having not met the guy, I mean, what kind of lack of any emotion would you have to have? Not just erase the murder stuff alone. All right. Well, or, I'm sorry, the unaliving stuff. We'll set that to the side.
Mhm.
Everything else, there has to be no empathy, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That like complete lack of ability to like sympathize or feel the emotions of other people, or yeah, it's pretty spot on in my opinion.
Frightening, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
It's scary that somebody can do this.
But also somebody who knows how to portray those emotions in order to
Right.
elicit a positive response, or the response that he needs from someone in order to accomplish his goal. Like that's the manipulative part. It's like he knows exactly what he's doing, and he knows what he has to say or how he has to act or what he has to look like in order for him to get the results that he wants. And
Right.
I mean, it's genius.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Well, to
but-
think like he's during all of this, he's somehow making money. Like he's
Yeah.
making a ton of money because they have these
Tons of it.
properties. Yeah.
But I mean, unless they talk about the problem of evil in psychology, where some people are just like this, and there's no explanation for it, no chemical imbalances, no anything. And unless somebody's putting cigarettes out in this guy's bunghole when he was a toddler, like this sounds like he was that way always.
Right.
And this would be one that I'd say this is a case for somebody that they're just fucking evil, man.
Yeah. Well, I used to do I used to be a probation officer for years, like an internship and all that.
No joke.
Yeah. So it's back for the. I'm not going to mention the city and place, but anyway, I used to be a probation officer, minor offenses, first time offenders, things like that. And what I learned very quickly is that a lot of these kids are inner city kids, and it's not that they don't know right from wrong. It's about what's going to put you ahead of the next person, what's going to gain the advantage for you over your peers. And so it wasn't that they didn't recognize what right and wrong was. Yeah, I know this is probably wrong. I know this is morally, this is incorrect. However, it doesn't matter to me because this is going to put me in a better position going forward.
Right.
And that's when your morals start falling off, and it's a slippery slope, because if you get away with one thing, you can get away with two things, and on and on and on. Yeah. And if your life is somehow easier for it, it's working out.
Right.
It's working out.
A few friends of Suzette, Laura Remington and Suzanne Taylor, were contacted by the police. So they're investigating at this point, and they see that she'd been emailing her friends, and these are two of her friends, Laura Remington and Suzanne Taylor. Laura agrees to email JR for the police to try and get some information from him. Over the next few months, she forwards all of their emails. They discuss a dominant, submissive relationship. Laura then receives a letter from Suzette saying JR is a wonderful guy. Now in March of 2000, there you go, Thomas.
Bing, bing. Okay.
Steve Hames, the PO that we discussed earlier, receives a call from a Lenexa officer who has put together a task force to bring down JR. Also in March, they receive a tip from a coworker at a motel near the one that Suzette was staying at, the roadside inn. JR had booked a room there for 20 days where a female guest was staying. They found a letter in the trash in the lobby that was a slave contract to JR. The next officer picked up a copy of the letter from the hotel. Meanwhile, Detective Don Lehman is following JR. So the county has now got a detective specifically following JR. This is Dawn. It's a female Dawn. March 29th, she follows him to his farm. She returns the next day to take some pictures of the farm. He doesn't have any at this time. He has no trespassing signs. There's no fences up on the property, so she's allowed to legally walk around the property. She can't like enter the house,
Right.
but she can take pictures on the property and not get in trouble. April 15th, she goes back, and the property has no trespassing signs and makeshift gate. While he's being surveillanced in April, JR meets Vicky Newfield, a psychologist from Galveston, Texas. She posts an ad looking for a dom and some work. They agreed to meet. She drives to Kansas City with her dog. On April 23rd, law enforcement knows she is coming and stays in the hotel room next to hers. The following day, JR shows up with a slave contract. Vicky is hesitant, but she signs it. JR says if they have good chemistry, she could live with him till she gets a job. They proceed with Vicky giving him oral. He gives her money for food and leaves. Vicky was questioning going back to Texas, but could not afford getting back. Next morning, JR comes back and becomes angry when he asks her to put spiked heels on, and she refuses. He starts taking pics and laughs at her when she asks him to stop. He told her she should reread her contract because she is not fulfilling that, and then leaves. Later, she calls and apologizes. The next day, he shows up. They have intercourse, and after they discuss her going back to Texas for the rest of her stuff, he agrees but takes her bag of toys. I said toys, and I'm referring to not kids' toys. But I'm wording it that way on purpose.
It's a real jerk move.
That's a real dick move.
You don't do that. Come on now.
No.
It's all I've got.
Oh, God. Actually, this is a point of everything that I've done. This is probably the most comical information because of the fact that it plays part later on.
Oh, no.
The bag of toys.
No, you can't have them. A pillowcase slung over it.
The worst Santa ever.
That's funny.
It's like a horny Grinch. Just like they're mine now.
While she's
Okay.
While she's in Texas, she asked JR for references and referrals for job interviews. A week later, she is waiting to hear back from JR to see if a van arrived with the rest of her stuff. He doesn't respond, so she calls him and leaves a message saying, "I feel like you used me. Please send back my stuff."
Bring back my pillowcase.
I bought all this cleaner and I don't have anything to use it on.
I'm a business lady. I need my tools.
Oh my God. Okay.
Hi, I had to throw that out there. Damn it, Pawpaw. That's good. That's funny. Think about it. That's this guy. The guy that's on the screen right now behind us. That's this guy. All of this is this guy.
It is.
It's crazy to think about. Okay, JR says JR gets back to her, says he's been in Israel and that she should trust him. She threatens to call the police if he didn't give her stuff back. This stuff must have some sentimental value. Let me put it that way. If she's like that, like serious about this bag,
A lot of firsts in that.
there's
bag.
either some very expensive product in that bag.
Or this was me grandmother's toy.
Yeah,
This has been passed down from
country.
Do you have any idea what my grandmother had to do?
Smuggled it.
I was gonna say she threw hours of hard work and labor into chiseling that thing into that bark of wood.
She put it in the only place she knew where they couldn't find it.
Okay.
Excellent. Love it.
I love it. Okay, our humor in this true crime stuff definitely adds another aspect to the show. I got it really does.
Yeah, that we're all going to
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Express train. Boop,
I'll
boop.
see
All
you
right.
fellas there.
So she starts. So she starts receiving phone calls with no responses, like just a dead air. So after noticing repetition, she starts blowing a whistle into the phone, and it stops. She stops receiving calls from that. Jr. calls her though and warns her that if she keeps harassing him about her toys, that his attorney would expose her BDSM slave contract. Because remember, she was a psychologist before they met, or was it something like that? She was a psychologist. So he threatens to expose her. Vicky calls the police anyways. So that's good. That's good.
Nice. Okay. This is like the first good move.
Well, I mean, we are on. Let's see here. Where are we at here? We're almost done. We're on 10. We're on 10, guys. We're almost done.
All right. All
We're
right.
getting there. We are getting there. Okay. During this, during all of this, JR is also talking to a lady named Jeannie, who he met on a site.
Of course he is.
James Turner wants a sexual relationship with her, and she agrees. JR gets her a hotel in May of 2000. Police get a room next to theirs.
I'm starting to think the police are perverts. And they're just like up on the wall.
They're selling the audio on the black market.
They got like a mirror around the corner, like oh,
like one of those little like.
That's
awesome.
Is that a head? It's a cheek. I don't know.
So they discuss her being a bookkeeper and for her to take care of his house. After the weekend, he shows up that Monday asking for a social security number. She gives him a fake one because she's a little like suspicious about it. Good for her. Whatever. He instructs her to go back home and close all of her bank accounts and come back, which she does. Like Nancy's still here, by the way, guys. This whole time, Nancy's still. They're married. They've got their kids. Their kids are out of the house, but they're still married. She runs it at the trailer park that they live at.
Till death.
Good old sweet Nancy.
Till death.
She has to know. Like she had.
I just got a lot of work, honey. A long night. Lots of riding.
Okay, so he instructs her to go back. Later that month, she returns to the same hotel, this time not surveillanced. JR shows up very upset because she is not undressed with her hair tied back like he had asked and leaves her bruised all over her chest. After he leaves, she complains about being bored. He tells her to go to the mall. Jeannie goes to the office upset and finds out that his name is not James Turner and that the motel is booked under John Robinson. She calls the police and gives an extensive interview on May 20th. Good for you.
Yeah, it's about time.
That's right.
So it wasn't the fact that he beat the shit out of her chest and left her bruised up and marked up. No, that's not his real name. Now I'm going to call.
Right.
I go back to what I said earlier with the thing. Like, what?
I know.
I
All
surrender.
right. Meanwhile, Barbara back in Canada, or up in Canada, is getting frustrated because she's expecting JR to come up there. You know, she's waiting on him.
Mm-hmm.
JR puts up cameras around his property when he catches on to the police surveillancing him. Laura, continuing a conversation with JR, gets a call from him saying that his name is James. They have phone sex, and then she asks about Suzette.
And then
what number of woman is he on? That's what Hi says. That's too funny.
Power through.
I wish we had more people that were like. First off, hi. I'm very glad that you're in here still. But if more people were following along, I feel like they'd be doing the same thing that Hi's doing. Just like what the.
Yeah.
just like
Yeah,
we are.
I've kind of had to pretend that it's the same person the whole through in order for me to follow it. It's just like
It's so much.
the
It's
story
so
stays
much.
the same, but the names just
Yes.
change. You
That's
know?
why. Well, because it overlaps. So like I'm going
Yeah.
through the timeline, but it still kind of backtracks to jump to make
Yeah.
sense with the present.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
all right. So in late May, hold on, Lord, continuing conversation. JR tells her. Okay, so J.I. After that, she asks about Suzette. JR tells her that he hired a private investigator who found her traveling the world with her lover, and that she had stolen $10,000 from him. In late May, police find out JR is talking to a divorced woman in Tennessee, talks her into coming to Kansas City with her child and a title to her car. She agrees to come in a few weeks. At the same time, JR is also talking to a 17-year-old mother. Oh, I jumped down too far. Who recently gave birth, tells her she could come to his farm in Lacine if she agrees to become a sex slave. Wow. Police know they are coming, and they're worried about their safety. So they're like, let's try to figure out what we're going to do here. June, we're almost done. I'm almost at the end of page 10. Hi says facepalm. Yeah, no joke. This whole time I feel like an idiot because I'm the one reading all of this. Justin Lewis, what's up, man?
Or how about the police? They know that this is not the first time that they knew somebody was coming,
Right.
and they would set up rooms beside. It's like maybe we should do something. This might turn out badly. No shit.
So on June 2nd, some plainclothes detectives surround JR's home. They knock and he lets them in. The longer the police talk to him, the more agitated he becomes. JR is booked for sexual assault and theft charges for stealing Vicky's toys. That's
Nailed
right.
it.
That's right.
Got him.
They used it. They used the toys. They used the toys. They used the toys to book this guy. That's what I was talking about. They used this chick's stolen toys as an excuse to book this guy. Like, that is just brilliant. Like, that makes this whole thing worth it.
I mean, depending on the cost of those toys, too. I mean, it can be pretty hefty.
Oh, depending on the toy. I can tell you as somebody, perhaps I knew somebody that used to write for the sex toy industry.
17.
I'm not going to name any names, but the average cost on those is like $65 and above. So if he had, if it were a sack of toys, dude, you're talking, I mean, over 1,000.
This is primo shit here.
All right. So here's the wrap up is pretty interesting too. Okay. So, JR's butcher. Okay. 3 detectives take 5 computers and all the floppy disks that they can find. Receipts from the motel the same day that Lisa went missing. They also get a warrant for his storage unit where they find Suzette's passport, birth certificate, social security card, pre-signed addresses enveloped to her family, nude photos of Suzette, her journal, and other belongings, Isabella's ID and slave contract, along with Vicky's toys. Yay! Vicky gets her toys back, guys. This is a cause for celebration. Thank you, Thomas. I'd clap, but my other hand's holding a laptop. But Vicky gets her toys back, and that's the end of the story.
Thank God for small victories.
The following days, officers get a warrant for his farm in Lacine. Around 1 p.m., a cadaver dog alerts when they find 2 85-gallon barrels.
No. Shocking.
Mm-hmm.
When opened, they find a body with its head down, bloated and purplish. The second was had a pillow on top of more human remains. First off, Sean, I am curious. Do you have any input on a time frame for bloated and purplish? Because I know that you were an EMT for at one point.
Yeah, I did lots of medical stuff, which is not bode well in these stories. But here's the thing: I'm kind of shocked that they were still in just bloated condition, and not because. As an example, a mutual friend of Pat and he passed, and in his house, and he was already leaking. We'll just say that by the time it passed on Friday, and when was found on, I think it was a Sunday, was already leaking, because as soon as a body expires, the bacteria that takes care of things in the gut just starts going right, and environmental things. So the only thing that I would say doesn't seem that long, if that was the only condition they found him in, bloated, and being in a sealed, like airtight environment may have affected that.
I just
But
can't imagine this guy wouldn't want to try and use some kind of accelerated process to like dissolve or destroy any evidence.
it's like
Like-
lye, right, or something.
I don't know why they would just be in a barrel. I feel like you'd want to have some, I don't know, something to dissolve.
I don't know. Do you have with all the stuff he's got going on? Okay, come on, just add another layer to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's sloppy work.
That
if
is
you
sloppy
ask
work.
me,
That
okay?
is.
Well-
it is. It is.
It's with all he's got going on, or he's just such a narcissist, and he's got all these things that he's juggling.
Truly
Maybe.
believes that it will not be discovered.
Yeah, there you go.
He's just that like arrogant.
Yeah, just that confident that nobody's ever gonna find it out. I'm too good.
Yeah.
So the first one was identified as Suzette. She had a skull fracture consistent with a hammer blow.
Okay.
She'd been there for at least a few months up to a year. Second was identified as Isabella. She had 2 hammer blows to the skull. June 5th, officers get a search warrant for another storage unit in Raymore, Missouri. Inside, they find 3 more barrels
Oh,
hidden behind some other items. First barrel was identified as Beverly Bonner, the ex-wife of
Right.
Dr. William Bonner, the one who didn't agree to his conditions.
Right.
Thanks, Justin,
Mhm.
with the weird smiley face. Appreciate you, man. I'm surprised you're still hanging out. This ain't your cup of tea. Thank you for hanging out with us. So, she had blunt force injuries to her head. Second barrel had hammer blows to the head and a broken forearm. Sheila Faith, which the broken forearm kind of means that she was trying to defend herself.
Yeah.
And that was all. The third barrel had a teenager with misshapen pelvis and degenerative conditions, with multiple blows to the side of the head. The daughter Debbie, the daughter of Sheila.
Right.
wow.
After gathering all of the evidence, Johnson County DA Paul Morrison has to inform JR's brother Don and his wife that Helen, their daughter, is murder victim Lisa's daughter. And now at this point, she's 15 years old. So she lived with them for 15 years during all of this.
Wow.
And that is the end of the information. He is still incarcerated. He is still alive.
Ay,
I
caramba.
believe he's like 87 or 88 years old.
Do you know where he's
but
being
you-
held? He's probably in Missouri, right?
It's in our area. I don't know exactly where, but
Yeah.
that's where I ended it, guys. I mean, it's
Goodness gracious. You know, at the
2
end of this,
2 hours and 2 minutes into this. I'm glad you guys hung out because I did most of the talking.
the thing is that towards the end of this, I started thinking that, like, yeah, he is getting sloppy. Like, if somebody's so like precise and calculated, like, God, a hammer to a skull, like, what a messy method to end somebody. You know, like, I would think that he would have some other sort of way to go about it to keep things tidy.
Yeah.
And that's not a tidy way to go.
No.
And there's so much blood, like
Oh yeah,
around this area. Like that's why head wounds are so scary, because they
You're right. He didn't.
just brr, But
Right.
but he's consistent though, and with
Yeah.
serial killers, they have MOs, and
right.
he was consistently doing that with every one of them. So there was something about that
I don't.
I hate
I
to
don't-
put it this way, but it spoke to him.
Well, and I don't necessarily think so. I don't necessarily think that he wanted to get caught, but I think he thought he was going to get away. Like whether it was dip out and he could postpone it long enough to get to Canada
Yeah,
or whatever. I don't think, because even at one point he had to have noticed that he was being surveillanced. This guy's not that stupid. I mean, he's
but
a-
it's also like a incredible hubris, right? Maybe
Right.
it's like playing
Yeah.
a factor here.
Yeah.
Like I am untouchable. Like, look at me, spanning decades of all this horrible shit I've been able to pull off. Like,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
like they're not even looking for me. Like, yeah, right.
Dude, I bet you anything, if he made it to Canada, he would have killed that woman.
Oh, yeah, and
Oh, yeah.
he'd be doing it all over up there.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
man.
But the time span of this, like we got to talk about like the development of social media became a thing, and that's what really. So it starts when he has to provide for his family. So he gets married and he's like, I gotta provide, but then he's like, okay, but me falsifying these documents is working.
Right.
I am, who cares if I lost this job? I'll just do it again.
Right.
Who
Yeah.
cares?
Now this shit's starting to get fun.
Yes. Yeah, at some
Yeah.
point there had to be a point where he's like, okay, this is just energetic. I'm getting a thrill from like 80% of what I'm doing.
right.
Fuck Nancy.
Yeah.
She clearly doesn't know.
What
She
an
has no
incredible
idea.
high it must be.
Yes.
Huh. Well,
And there's never like no one ever knows how much. No one's ever gonna know unless he tells somebody. But I doubt it at this point.
yeah.
How much he stole or how much he has. I mean, again, how many people did he swindle and they didn't come forward?
Yeah. Well, this kind of thing is like happening every day all over the
Mhm.
place, probably. I mean, it's like a lot more sophisticated. There's like more like firewalls and it's more advanced as far as technology goes. But like this sort of stuff is happening with like human trafficking and drugs and whatever else. Like
Yeah.
people will find incredible ways to screw other people out of whatever they want out of them.
Mhm.
It's
The
amazing.
proliferation of scamming is ridiculous. Like one of the new things that's happening is scammers are using AI to create avatars to get jobs at companies. And then when they get the jobs and they get all the critical password, information from the company, then they use that information to steal from the company.
Right.
It is constant, dude.
Well, actually, the app Indeed, I'm sure you guys are familiar with Indeed, right?
Oh yeah, very much.
Yeah.
Indeed has an algorithm that sorts applications based on keywords. So it doesn't really matter what you put in there. If you don't hit those keywords, it doesn't get sorted properly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Nice.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
but Sean, what do you got? What's your last thoughts on this guy or this whole thing?
I kind of want to go visit the guy in prison and just be like, "What the fuck, bro?" Like,
I mean, me and Thomas could probably go do it and interview.
if you could, as the denouement to this whole thing, and actually have a sit down with this guy, if they would grant that, dude, are you kidding me?
Probably a nice guy. He'll probably
Oh,
get
I
us
bet
to
he would-
toss a few bucks towards his commissary or something.
Justice says go get
your
tipped.
socks off, bro. He would charm your socks
What
off.
if I'm like, hey, look, all we need is a few signatures, and you're gonna be traveling, so you're gonna be real busy, man.
Yeah.
He's
Like,
going to come
I
back.
think I got
from
a
the-
20.
I don't know why I just signed so much stuff when I was there.
I'm actually the executive producer for Netflix, and I'd love to tell your story. Here's my resume right here. I'm currently employed as the executive producer for Netflix.
Some people are
Yeah.
just good, man. Some people are just good. Do you remember like the raw days of like Wikipedia? I remember there for a hot minute. I was the inventor of like bubble wrap. You could just like change stuff,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
would stick. It would stick around for like a couple days until somebody caught it and
Oh.
changed it back. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well,
It's amazing.
I do want to say that I appreciate. First off, hi, how are you?
Thanks for
For
sticking
hanging
it
out with us. I mean, you might as well have just been up here in the panel with us the whole show. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Seriously.
Next
Justin, job bless, man. I know who you are. You're a good dude. Thank you for popping in. And then obviously everybody else has been popping in and out. Thank you guys so much. This is going on all platforms. I do want to give a quick shout out real quick to JG's Lounge. We've been averaging over 2 million views a month on all social medias. It's fantastic.
That's very good.
We're getting ready to announce we're getting ready to do our first live show here in Kansas City, October 2nd. I'm thrilled about it. We're getting ready to do another short comedy slasher that we're collabing with a horror group on. Sean, you're back in the you're back in the game, kind of. I mean, you're there, when you're available.
Yeah.
Busy guy.
I would love to say things are calming down, but you know about the TV deal thing and stuff, and
Yeah, man,
that's advancing. So
that's good. That means that people within the network, we're all growing together, man. That's good. That's all that matters. Thomas, a repeat guest on JG's Lounge.
Glad to be here.
Thank you so much, man.
Always a good time.
This, I have to say, is the longest singed, and the fact that I talked as much as I did, I appreciate. And I fucked up multiple times, and you guys still hung out with us. Thank you so much. So
appreciate you.
I appreciate all of you. You can check us out on Spotify. If you want to re-listen to the episode, it's going to be on Spotify. It'll be everywhere you want to find it. Hi says, hey, I'm down for anything. I'm in Ohio. I'm kind of funny sometimes. That's what's up. All right. Hey, everybody. We'll see you around. And until next time, thank you all so much.